everyone. Welcome back to Fear Given and Rethemed. We're your hosts, Casey,
And Sean.
and we are continuing our 2024 Halloween season with another haunted attraction review. On today's episode, we will be talking about a localish haunt here in Florida.
A what haunt?
Localish.
Localish?
Yeah. Called Fear Reach Scream Park.
Where is Fear Reach Scream Park?
It is in Tavares. Is it Tavares or Tavares?
I have no idea. Is it Nevada or Nevada?
Potato. Yeah, so that's in like Central Florida, like closer to
Orlando, Claremont.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah,
not a
it's
far
within
drive.
driving distance back to Halloween
Apopka,
Horror Nights.
yeah. So it's not too far away. For us, it was 2 hours.
About 2.5 hours, yeah.
Yeah.
From Lottie.
Yeah. So, you want to talk about dates, tickets, and pricing?
Yeah, so we're going to break it down into a couple of new categories. So we'll start off with dates, ticket, pricing. We'll look at the 3 houses that they have, and we'll talk about some of our favorite things in them, as well as the summary of the house and kind of the storyline. And then we'll keep going, talk about merchandise, the bar that they've got, kind of some of the fun and games they've got in the midway. And then I added a section at the end to talk about all of the tech. So
cool.
for the people that care about it, we'll talk about kind of the ticketing systems, as well as a lot of their props, where to buy them if you want your own, and yeah, just some of the tech-specific stuff that the nerds like me.
Yeah, and we actually have been to this park before. This is our second time going.
Yeah, and this time we got to go to Media Night.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
Yeah, it was our first media night that we've done.
Yeah, at any venue. It was
Yeah,
cool.
it was
I'd
really
like
cool.
to do more of these.
Yeah, for sure.
So the dates are September 28th. We went on opening night, also media night, through October 31st. Most of the time it's Fridays and Saturdays, except for the last 2 Thursdays of October, the last of which is Halloween. The general admission cost is $20 per person. You can also upgrade and do a double creature feature for an additional $15 per person, and that allows you to go through each attraction twice.
Oh, cool.
So it's not unlimited, but you still get to really see everything. We went to 2 out of the 3 houses twice,
Yep.
so I felt like that was well worth it. You can also upgrade even further and get a speed pass for an additional $10 per person. And that allows you to kind of go through the express line, basically.
Yeah. Highly recommended for people that don't want to stand out in the heat.
Definitely. There's a lot of heat, a lot of mosquitoes out there, because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
on an actual farm in
Yeah.
Central Florida.
Once it gets cooler outside, though, it'll probably be better. But when we went, the opening night, it was pretty packed.
Yeah.
We waited, I think, even 15 minutes or so for each house.
Yeah, and that was with the speed pass line.
Yeah.
So yeah, but well worth the wait. Each house took about 3 to 7 minutes to go through. I think the longest one for us was Grimoire Manor.
Yeah.
I think that one took us almost 7 minutes to go through.
Okay.
If you are headed out there with a group of 15 or more, you can contact them and they have kind of large quantity discounts.
I don't even know 15 people I would take to a haunted
I don't
house.
either, to be honest.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I could go with maybe like 4 other people max,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's probably my limit.
Yeah.
So that's the dates, the tickets, the pricing, all of that jazz.
Cool.
You want to talk about some of the houses?
Yeah. So there's 3 houses. One is called Grimoire. Am I saying that right?
Mhm.
Grimoire Manor, Bloodline Barn, and Chainsaw Chase. So these are the same ones that they had last year. And last year this was their opening. So this is their only second year doing this. So while they didn't change the like facade or like pretty much the layout of everything, they did change a little bit in Chainsaw Chase, and then they changed, I think, a lot. Well, not a lot, but they changed the storyline in Grimoire Manor, I think.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, and then they added a piece to it at the end, which was really cool.
Yeah, so the names were still the same, and just a little bit of revamp on the inside.
Yeah, so we'll start with Grimoire Manor. And I'm gonna read a paragraph. Looks like.
Yeah, it's a long story.
It is a long story, but it's good to know the story before you enter, just so that you
Can
kind
you
of.
read it in like a creepy voice, like a good storyteller?
Oh gosh, I'm not good at
I
that.
think you can do it.
Okay. The stately Reach Manor and graveyard
That's good.
were built by newlyweds Budge and Clara Reach. A few years into the marriage, Clara gave birth to their only daughter, Willow. The doctor quickly discovered that both mother and daughter suffered from a hereditary condition that would lead to an early grave. As Clara's health deteriorated, the pain slowly drove her to madness. Her husband, Budge, has retreated to the barn and started experimenting to find a cure. Little Willow decided to turn to the occult, searching for help within the pages of her ancient book of spells, the Grimoire. But is Willow strong enough to control the dark power that she has awakened?
I don't think that she is.
No, but I really like the name Willow.
I do too. I
Super
think that
cute.
was up on the table when
Yeah.
we were coming up with baby names for sure.
Yeah, because of Taylor Swift. Anyways, so
Yep.
yeah, this was really good. The set design was amazing. I think they did a really, really good job. It was my favorite.
The acting was phenomenal.
Oh yeah, and I actually felt like I was in a house. Like as soon as you walk in, you don't really feel like you're in. I don't know. It's hard to
You
explain.
don't feel like you're in an outdoor barn anymore.
No.
Like even
It's
though
so
the
good.
walls are only about 8 feet,
Right.
you still feel very immersed.
Yeah. Yeah, they did really well with adding like all the different types of props, from tables to pictures on the wall. Like they did not skimp on anything in this house.
Something I was really impressed with on the acting was how well they cast the different girls
Yeah.
all to be the same person.
Right.
It was very fluent. It was very consistent. It was really, really well done.
Yeah, and they were really they did really well with the recorded audio and talking.
Yeah.
So they weren't talking, but they were like lip talking. They were
Lip
lip
synced?
sync. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they were so good at it. So
For it to be opening night and them already have that down,
yeah.
very impressive.
Yeah, I'm sure they practiced a lot, so kudos to them. Oh, there was an actual shower head in there.
There was.
Yeah, and it like misted out water, and it felt
whenever
so
you
good.
walked on the step mat.
Yeah.
I have that listed in tech
Okay.
that we can talk about then. But that was really neat. I still don't fully understand
Why it was water?
why it was there.
I think you just walked through the bathroom. Like the lady was hiding in the bathroom.
I think that they wanted to spray water,
Yeah.
and that was the way that they rationalized
Yeah.
putting it right there.
I mean, you
Was,
had
"Oh,
to
you're in a
walk through the bathroom to go to the bedroom, so.
Yeah,
I mean, it's still, you were in a house. You were in a haunted house, so.
that's true.
A manor. Anyways, yeah.
I feel like it was a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, but I liked it because it felt really good, so I'm not.
That's true.
I'm not dishing it at all.
In addition to the bathroom, they also had the kitchen that you got to walk through.
Oh, right, right.
And did you notice? I don't think you took the class last year at Transworld, where Alan Hops was talking about a clacker jungle. And it's so clacker gloves are kind of like the fabric gloves that have metal hot glued onto them.
Okay.
So you can kind of like scrape them on the ground. You can go against fencing. Really, any of that metal on metal sound.
Yeah.
It's very grating to people. So one thing he talked about was if you can create a jungle for your clacker character. So basically a whole bunch of metal things around you, pots, pans, even wooden butcher blocks to like bang on. Something that are seemingly indestructible or can take that beating most of the season.
Yeah.
And that's definitely what they created in the kitchen.
I don't
It was
remember that scene in the kitchen.
So that was the one where you were walking around the corner and all of a sudden you heard this pop, 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 pop. And the guy, I don't even think he said anything as a character.
It might have been too overwhelming for me.
That's possible. I think it was shortly after the bedroom scene.
Oh, okay. Because in the bedroom scene, they had this really cool bed, and then it like. I'm not gonna give it away, but there's an amazing.
We'll talk about it more in the tech, and I won't give away where it was, but we'll talk about the specifics of what the
There's
mechanism
just a cool
is.
jump scare. So.
Yeah. There's a lot of good jump scares in
Yeah.
this.
And then they added the outdoor graveyard scene, which was really, really well done.
Yes.
I mean, it was literally made of outdoor items.
Like trees,
Trees
and
and
yeah.
yeah. So that
And
was
it
really cool.
felt like you were still outside. Like it didn't feel like you were just in another outdoor scene.
Mm-mm.
It actually felt like wherever the walls were, they were in genuine places where they would normally be, like a fence panel here, there.
No,
It didn't feel forced.
I felt like I was in a cemetery
Exactly.
maze, basically. Yeah. So that was really cool. I
Yeah,
really
the jump
liked
scares
that.
in there, they definitely played with the elevation as well. So
Oh
some
yeah.
jump scares were kind of up on a pedestal above you, around the corner. That was really well done.
Yeah, I agree with that.
In the last scene, did you notice what the organ pipes were made out of?
Yes. So
Yeah.
they were made out of pool noodles.
Which is funny because supposedly Gainesville Fear Garden was given a set of organ pipes from Fear Reach made out of PVC.
Really?
Yes, they're in a box. I've seen them. We were very close to using them this year, and we didn't end up doing it because we scrapped the piano and
Oh yeah.
funeral room idea.
Okay.
But
Well, that makes sense then.
I'm glad that they didn't take that as a, oh, where did our organ pipes go? They're at Fear Garden. I would imagine you could
Yeah.
have them back at any time if you needed them.
Yeah.
But it was cool that they still made another way of making it work with the pool noodles. They
Yeah.
were, I don't think you would have known it unless you were a prop maker, and
So
then you
was
would have
it-
picked it out.
So was it candles that were supposed to be on the organ, or was it just like organ keys?
Oh, that I don't know.
It
I know
looked like candles.
the pipes on the back were
Oh,
just pool
okay.
noodles. I didn't really look at the keys. I'd have to look back at the video.
Okay.
It wouldn't surprise me if they used candles to make it kind of just look like it, and in
Yeah.
reality, it was just like a box.
I don't know. It was really cool looking though,
Yeah,
and that was in the church scene.
yeah, the very end scene.
Yeah, with demonic stuff in there, which
Yeah.
I don't love, but
What I thought was cool, another one, or what I thought was interesting, I guess, is did you notice how in the first 2 to 3 scenes all the audio was pre-recorded, and then they were just lip synced
yes.
to it, and
Yes.
then the more you get on, it was actually actors just saying it. So I'm curious if we were to go back later in the season, if they're gradually recording that audio
Yeah.
and making it an
I
actor
hope
activated
so
trigger.
because the girls that were or the actors that were screaming and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know how they can save their voices.
I don't see them lasting longer
No.
than maybe 2-3 weeks tops.
Because
screaming
they
at
were
that level.
loud.
And there's so many groups that come in. So you're doing that every 90-ish seconds, depending on the house.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, it was. It's very intense.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
But you weren't camping.
Exactly. Another thing that we noticed between last year and this year is they kept the same puppet prop. If you went last year, you're aware it's kind of a large puppet that is on a slide rail mechanism that pops out, and then there's an actor behind it that's controlling the mouth opening, shaking its head, things like that. So they retained that same scare. They just moved it to a different scene. I won't give away where, but it's very impactful where it is, and it's a good overall scene in the house.
Yeah.
So that was neat. And we'll talk about what the actual puppet is more in the text section. I figured out where they got it, and I can give a rough cost. If anybody has free money in their pockets that they would like to donate, we would also like this puppet.
No, they need to donate to hurricane relief funds.
Yes, that too.
Or?
That also.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So to get more of the technical stuff, the throughput on this house, they were letting in individual groups, so it's not a conga line like Halloween Horror Nights.
Which I liked, but that's why
that's why the wait
line
time
was
is so long.
Yeah.
But you have to find that balance of, would you rather just be in another line of people,
Right.
or do you want each individual scare
It's
for
actually
your
worth
group?
it in the end.
I think so. And their throughput is they let a group in up to 6 people, depending on the house. I would imagine it probably goes between 5 to 6.
Yeah.
But they let a new group in every 90 seconds on kind of a low-key night. I would say they could probably bump it up to about 60, maybe 75 seconds.
Yeah.
But I guess that's limited to the introduction scene and how long that pre-recorded audio is.
Yeah.
I didn't take note of how long it was. I could go back and watch the video, but
She did say that they let in every 45 seconds for.
we'll talk about that in that
Oh.
house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that is that house.
Mm-mm.
That's Grimoire Manor.
That was 90 seconds. Because that pre-recorded audio is longer than 45 seconds.
Oh, I see what you mean.
She
now.
was.
Okay.
She told us the throughput on all of the houses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see. So what was your rating of this house?
I would give it. I'm trying to think about what I would want that's more. And I don't have any complaints about this house. Other than I wish it was longer, which I know is kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
So I would give it 9. I still don't think I've hit like the perfect 10 out of 10 haunted attraction.
Mm-mm.
This was very close. I think it was very well done. The cost that went into it was very evident in the way it was constructed, the way it was operational.
Yeah, for sure.
All of that. So yeah, I would give it probably a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I did the same.
What?
Yep.
Man. All right, so that's all we've got on the first one. That was Grimoire Manor. And
Okay.
these, when I did the notes for this, I tried to put them in like a chronological-ish order because there is technically a way to go through these houses where they make more sense than less sense. And we did it the exact opposite
Right.
when we did it, but we already knew what the storylines were.
Yeah.
They were similar enough to year 1 that it wasn't a big deal. But when I did the notes, I wanted to make it more listener friendly.
Yeah.
So
That it made sense.
Grimoire Manor, the big culmination of it is Budge and Clara reach. Found out that they had a hereditary condition that Clara, as well as Willow, the daughter, had. So the father, Budge, kind of went and tried to find a cure and started experimenting in the barn, which is Bloodline Barn, that we'll talk about next. While in this house, Grimoire Manor, Clara was searching for her own solution in the occult, demons, possession, all that jazz.
Right.
So now we are leaving Grimoire Manor in the occult kind of solution, and we're going to Bloodline Barn, which is where the father, Budge, Reach, is actually looking into his own solutions through experimentation.
Oh, okay. So the description for this house is, rumor has it, Old Man Budge has been cooped up in this musty barn for years, trying to find a cure for his family's ailments. Folks say he only comes out at night to scavenge for junk and dig through trash. Some even say he's been stealing bodies from the local cemetery to experiment with. Do you have the courage to break into the decrepit barn and find out what Old Man Budge has been up to?
We do have the courage, and we did twice.
Yep.
So what notes do you have on this one? I know it's a little less, but what's your overall ranking of this house compared to Grimoire Manor?
Compared to Grimoire, it's a 6 out of 10.
Okay. What made it score a little lower? What was it missing?
It's really short for one.
Okay. It did take half the time. It took about 3 minutes, 30 seconds to go through.
To me, it was more just walking through the maze and less actors.
Less
jump scares, less actors.
When you say less actors, do you mean like less scenes where you stand there and listen to a narrative?
Yeah.
Because that's what I feel. There was only really 2 scenes.
Right.
Where you sat and listened to an actual
beginning
45
and end.
second. Yeah. So it started off with the plague doctor giving kind of the spiel, don't touch anything, they can't touch you. Kind of gave the main premise of the storyline.
Yeah, I did like the fact that you had to push open a door to get into the barn.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that. Even when I re-watched the video, I was like, why am I going into a wall? Oh, that's right. Yeah, it reminded me of Gatlinburg's Mysterious Mansion, where you had to find your way out, which I would
loved that.
love to do again now that I know what to expect.
I know.
That would be cool.
They're doing something new this year, by the way.
Well, we probably won't be able to do that unless we have a chaperone to take care of Salem on the road trip to Transworld. But we're going with Salem.
Hopefully.
We are road tripping it no matter what it takes.
Hopefully.
It's going to be long. It'll be good.
Yeah.
All right, what else you got from this one? Plague Doctor,
I
not
feel
as
like
many
it's the
actors.
same storyline and set design as last year. I don't
Yeah.
think they changed anything.
I'm sure they changed something, but not enough for us to have noticed like we
Right.
did in Grimoire Manor.
Yeah,
It
I
wasn't a
don't think.
huge
Right,
change.
I don't think it was either. It just, I don't know, it just seemed a bit boring to me. Just because of the less, like,
If
interaction, I guess.
if Grimoire Manor hadn't been there, do you think you would have rated this higher overall when there was no comparison between the two?
Probably.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
would agree. I think it was almost an issue of Grimoire Manor just stood out so much
Mm-hmm.
that
It
if you were to go to that
overshadowed.
first, right, you're gonna set your expectation as that's the bar.
Right.
And I agree. I think it's tough to beat that one. So you
Yeah.
either want to elevate all of your houses
Mm-hmm.
or you kind of know what your
I
good,
feel
better,
like I
best
feel like
houses
they should
are.
like give people, hey, you're gonna want to go through this one first, this one second, this one third.
I'd be curious though how it shakes out if they didn't have that. So when you go in, you sign up for an actual time,
Mm-hmm.
and they typically tell you, like they text you when
Oh,
to come
that's
to
right.
each
I forgot
house.
about that.
So for us, it was a little different. We didn't have that text to call back.
No, we could just
It
go
was
through
just going the
whatever.
speed pass. Because of the media, we could go
Yeah.
however many times we wanted. We could
Mm-hmm.
take videos, we could take pictures in the houses,
Mm-hmm.
which was very strange because I don't think I've ever been through a haunted attraction where I could take videos, where I could
No.
take pictures with flash,
Mm-mm.
which I,
Well, in the darkness, we were allowed to, but we didn't know that until the end.
that's true.
And so I was like, well, we could have like recorded this to
But the
remember,
darkness, I almost,
I wouldn't want to film for 45 minutes because that's like
no,
the
that was
longest
such
house
a long
ever.
house. This was fine with it being like 3 to 7 minutes. That was
Yeah.
good. And part of me regrets not going through and filming with a flash or with a
Mm-hmm.
light on.
Yeah.
Um,
I think next time we
I'm
go to a
50-50
media
on it.
night, I think we should record our reactions.
Yes. Yeah. That's what a lot of other
Yeah.
YouTubers do
Hmm. Well,
when
since we're
they
not
can't
YouTubers.
do the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be cool to post like just general reaction
Reactions.
videos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would
Maybe
be
we'll
cool.
do that. So yeah, what about you? Do you have any comments about this
I
house?
do. So, do you remember what my favorite quote was through this?
No.
It made me laugh every time, and I repeated in my head several times over that night.
What?
It's in the scene where the Father Budge is trying to. It's basically the Frankenstein scene
Oh, okay. I know.
where
The
I think
ending.
there was a prop in there or a mechanism that's supposed to work, and I
Mhm.
don't think it was working yet, which was very frustrating because we know something's there and it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
So it seemed like they were having to act the scene in a different way to make it work, but it still wasn't the same.
Gotcha.
But it was the Father Budge. She goes, "Need more power," and then the other, like a demon or I don't know, somebody came out.
What
I
did
don't
he
know if
need
it was
more power
supposed
for?
to like charge the Frankenstein.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, because he was
Oh,
basically
because he
like
was
raising.
experimenting with the dead bodies. I
Exactly.
see
It
what you mean.
was literally the exact same storyline as Frankenstein
Yeah,
in that room.
that makes sense now. Okay.
Yeah. So for this one, we talked about Grimoire Manor. Their throughput is about 90 seconds between groups.
Mhm.
This one was down to 75.
Okay.
And again, I think that's
I think that has a lot to do with the narration at the beginning and the
exactly.
end. So.
That's your constraint in terms
Yeah.
of how quick that you can go through.
Right. But they kind of have it down pat. I mean, it really wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, again, for night one, it was very impressive.
Mhm.
They don't have a set start time to the house openings.
No, they do it at
They
nighttime.
say gates open at 7 and then houses open whenever it gets dark.
Right.
So
Get
if
in
they
line
need a
whenever
couple
you
more
can.
minutes, they can say, "Oh, well, I don't think it's dark yet.
Yeah.
We need a couple more minutes."
Right.
So I kind of like that leeway.
But around this time of year, you always know it's going to get dark around like 7:45.
You do, but you also don't have a mutiny on your hands when you're like, "Hey, we're actually not going to open until 8:15."
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
okay,
true.
that's fine. Well, I'll just go get a drink at the bar. I'll listen to the band. I'll
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Yeah, there's lots to do with,
Yes.
rather than not going through the houses.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So what did you give this overall
Ooh, I
of
knew you were
reading?
going to ask me that, and I didn't write it down. Had all the effects been working the way I was hoping they would, I probably would have given this a 7 out of 10.
Okay, that's fair.
Because I feel like it was again, it's being kind of shafted because of the quality of Grimoire Manor.
Mm-hmm.
But I think under the circumstances, I would give it a 5 out of 10. It had enough story for me to enjoy it, and
Right.
it had enough effects, but you still knew there were some effects that weren't quite dialed in yet.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And some of the effects actually did get me. I just hate pneumatic scares.
yeah.
So,
And also, it was night one, so something I noticed a lot of times was actors peeking around corners
yeah,
when you were
looking.
coming into their scene.
Yeah.
Again, I think that's just a
Or
trial
just
and error
diddling with their
practice thing.
thing. They're like, okay, when is somebody going to come through? Oh, there they are. Okay.
Right.
Let me.
We caught a few of them off guard.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, it is what it is, but they'll get used to.
Yeah.
I think the higher, the more they'll go,
Yeah, practice makes perfect.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
more throughput, they're going to be like more.
And I would bet that Halloween Horror Nights, they also have a lot of these same growing pains on night
Mm-hmm.
one, night two, team member preview, things like that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So again, it's not anything negative on Fear Reach as a
Mm-mm.
whole. It's just that house wasn't as good
No.
as Grimoire Manor to me.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, still phenomenal house.
Yeah.
But yeah,
All right, on to Chainsaw Chase.
yeah.
Now, this. Okay, so the storyline behind this is the groundskeeper of Fear Reach Ranch has gone. Sorry, Fear Reach Ranch. I thought I said Fear Ranch Ranch. Okay,
No, you said it right.
the groundskeeper of Fear Reach Ranch has gone mad, keeping Old Man Budge's dark secrets and witnessing the horrors invoked by Willow and her grimoire has been too much to handle. He's let the property go, and now he's only taking care of one thing: trespassers. Will you survive the saw?
We
So,
did.
so all of those chainsaw people were Old Man Budge.
No, all of those chainsaw people
Were
were the
his?
groundskeeper.
Oh, okay.
So the groundskeeper, not several
Oh, I
groundskeepers.
see what you mean. The groundskeeper.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's basically like the caretaker
Yeah.
watches the whole family from afar and is like, "You guys are crazy.
Yeah.
I'm over this. I'm going mad."
Okay, so I don't like this maze. I just don't like.
But
It's fun if you want to get scared by chainsaws, but honestly, it doesn't really scare me. It
I think
annoys
you're
me.
desensitized to chainsaw noises.
I think so.
And I think on top of that, the fumes you were
Oh,
bothered
yeah.
by.
I forgot about that before I went, and so I had to cover my mouth with my thick jacket.
Yeah,
It helped a little bit, but I couldn't breathe, obviously, because it wasn't a mask. But
yeah.
I just every time like I I opened my mouth or whatever, or my nose, it was so strong. So I just didn't have a good time in this one.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have a hot take on this one. So I'm gonna try not to compare it to the other two. Because you gave it a 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
And I think that was because you don't like
I don't like chainsaws.
and to you it was boring in comparison to the other houses.
I mean, I could have given it like a 3.
So what if you reconsider it and you think of what it is? So it's literally just a chainsaw maze. That's its whole purpose.
Yeah.
They made a clever storyline
Mhm.
to make it fit in the narrative and the theme.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's literally just a maze for you to wander through, and chainsaws are the scare actors. There's no real surprises there.
I mean, if I was a person or a teenager or a kid that didn't like go to haunted houses all the time, I
This would
would
be
probably
terrifying.
get scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So,
for what
I
it
get
is of just a chainsaw maze, what could they have done to make the chainsaw maze better? Knowing that it's still a chainsaw maze. Like,
Honestly, nothing. They did
so what
everything
would
they
you give
could.
it out of 10 for what it is?
For
Not
what
in
it
comparison
is?
to the rest.
Probably a 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say a 7 for what it is.
Yeah, they did add more like jump scares. Like you didn't know where the groundskeeper was going to be with the chainsaw.
Yeah, and they only had about 4 to 5 actors. throughout
Yeah.
the whole thing, and they had enough like double-sided scares,
Mhm.
especially near the end. They were able to follow you a little more or a little
Yeah.
longer.
And I like the fact that you could get lost
At the
at the
end,
end. Yeah.
yeah, that was very unexpected because you expect to go through a typical haunted house in a linear fashion where you're not doubling back, you're not getting
Mhm.
lost, you're not anything like that, unless that's part of it, like Gatlinburg Mysterious Mansion,
Yeah.
things like that, or an actual maze.
Right.
So this one, I didn't expect it at the end, but
Mm-mm.
at the end there was about 2 or 3 different variations that you could go,
Yeah.
and they were all centralized around kind of a main hub where the actors could hang out and scare you no matter what path you went on. And I
Mhm.
thought that was kind of a genius concept where you're maintaining your throughput for the most part because for this one
Mhm.
they let in groups every 45 seconds.
Mhm.
So your throughput is a lot quicker, but because of the chainsaw and you don't have to pause for narrative. Hmm.
You know what would make it even more scarier?
What?
And it's
Even
probably a safety
scarier?
sorry, whatever. Salem's taking all of my brain juice.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, what would make it scarier?
I don't know.
No, I'm telling you.
Oh.
And this probably is a safety hazard, but if it was in a cornfield
Mm.
maze and the cornfields were like really high
Yeah.
and you had like that would scare me because even just going through
So
corn
it was the
mazes,
matter of the fence panels
yeah,
instead of corn maze.
yeah, I think so.
Okay. That's fair.
I mean, because then you're just like, okay, like an actual, like legit maze,
Yeah.
and you have like all these monsters or whatever trying to like find you and run
Yeah.
after you. I think that would scare me.
That's fair. I can,
Yeah,
yeah, I would agree with that.
yeah. So,
Um, so I think that for what this was, I think it was really well done. I liked that
yeah, simple
they
concept.
used the fence panels and the gaps between the panels as a way for the actors to look to see where the guests are.
Mhm.
And then typically they also put strobe lights in the guest face so
Yeah.
that you can't see past the light, but the actor can see from behind the light.
Mhm.
So I thought that was really clever, really well
Yeah.
done.
And it was outdoors. I'm not gonna say that they put this indoors. They did as much as they could to kind of alleviate the,
Oh yeah.
like, you know.
What I thought was cool was they did so last year it wasn't a full facade.
No.
This year it was a full kind of rickety looking,
Mhm.
almost like a one wall of a barn, but you could tell it wasn't meant to be a wall that was well constructed. It was
Mhm.
a wall that was just kind of slapped up in a more rustic, almost as if the rest of the house had flown away.
Yeah. I think another thing that would probably make it even better is to
Hmm.
add characters that aren't carrying chainsaws to scare you. So then you don't know
But
if,
what's the purpose of those characters? Like
I don't
what
know.
who are they in the storyline?
Um, I don't know. Maybe it would be a different storyline.
That's fair.
So maybe not
Okay.
this storyline, but like if they do a new one
I think
and
for the cost that went into this, the only really budget you're looking in at is the cost of the fencing panels,
mhm,
the cost of the same costume 5, 6 times,
true.
and then the chainsaws themselves.
Yeah.
Overall, it's a really low budget way to get the maximum amount of scare.
That's true.
So I think for that reason, I understand why they didn't add more characters into the mix so that you weren't having to pause and be like, well, who is that? I thought I was just looking at one character. You didn't have to explain the storyline to anybody if they read the summary.
No.
Oh, it's the caretaker. He's
Well,
taking care of
actually, that's not
trespassers.
true. I wouldn't have known.
But you don't have to go through it knowing the storyline. But once you hear
No,
the
but
storyline,
once you hear it, then
it
you're like,
makes
oh,
sense.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Right. It's not a forced narrative
Excuse
or
me?
anything like that.
Yeah.
So, we talked about all 3 houses, kind of short and sweet.
Mhm.
What else did they have when you weren't going through houses?
So they had merchandise. So they had a little table over in like the bar area. They had their original shirt that they had last year, and then plus 2 more designs. One of them was showcasing the bar name,
Which was
Pitchfork Parlor,
yep,
right?
Pitchfork Parlor and
Yep.
Bar.
and then the other for the band name, I guess that was playing. So they have a live band
Yes.
there as well,
Hmm.
which they were really good.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the songs sounded like Goo Goo Muck.
They did, yeah, but they did a
Um,
really good job with it.
they did, and all of the so it was a three-piece band: drums, bass, and electric guitar. And the two guitarists, the electric guitarist and the bassist, were both on wireless packs, so they could actually go through the whole parlor. They could go interact with some of the scare actors. They had two cue actors that were kind of roaming the whole area, so they got to interact with them. They could
Yeah.
dance. They weren't constricted to the stage, so that
Right.
was really cool.
Yeah, I like the interaction that they had.
Yeah,
They also had available for sale hats and stickers as well.
yeah. Did they have the koozies for sale?
I don't know. I didn't see those anywhere, but
So as part of our media pack, we got stickers
we got stickers, koozies,
and then
and
two
then
free drink tickets.
yes, and then pins.
Oh
Little, like,
yeah, we did
pins.
get pins,
Mhm.
and then glow necklaces instead
like
of
our
wristbands.
ticket, yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of the uh, not the discrepancy, the variation between media and non-media was
Yeah.
the glow necklaces.
Yeah, which is super cheap option to do and
Right?
works.
Yeah.
So
Tell us more about the Pitchfork Parlor and Bar because they had kind of a summary breakdown on their website
okay.
for that.
So it says a reprieve from the horror of Fear Reach. This old harvest house has been transformed into a macabre lounge filled with music and libations. Enjoy the tunes of the Dismembered, our Halloween house band, while sipping on a spooky, bubbling cocktail. Pitchfork Parlor also serves. Sorry, my computer timed out. Also serves pumpkin beer, which would have been so good to drink.
Too bad you're prego.
Wine, craft beer, and other offerings.
Yeah.
We had with our 2 drink tickets, I wanted a mocktail, so we got mocktails. I think one of them was like a berry lemonade or something,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other one was creamsicle.
Yeah, the creamsicle was good.
Yes, but you
Um,
liked mine better,
I liked yours
so we
better.
switched.
And then they also had a green apple.
Yeah, I wanted to try that one.
And I think the green apple and the creamsicle you could also get
Yeah, you
with
can get
your choice
alcohol.
of liquor.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which would probably be really good with like vodka.
Yeah.
Yeah, those would
Yeah,
be
the
really good.
creamsicle one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Um,
But their little bar is so cute. Like they have.
It's so this whole place also, um, what's the word I'm looking for?
Oh.
Double.
It's a wedding venue, I think.
Yeah, it doubles as a wedding venue in
Mhm.
the off season.
Yeah, it would be really
I
nice
would
as a wedding
love to
venue.
just keep all the decorations up and get married again in like mid-November
Yeah.
and just have all that up.
I
That would
bet
be
people
cool.
actually like do that. They're like, "Hey, can I get married and have like all this stuff up here?"
Right, do
They're
that for
probably
half the
like,
season.
"Heck yeah."
Exactly.
I would, shoot.
So
That's like my dream though, to own like something like
a
that.
wedding venue.
A wedding venue that can double as like a fair and like,
Yeah.
a fall festival type thing. Ugh, that would be so nice.
Yeah, that would be cool. So in addition to the bar, you could also play some fun carnival-like games at the Fear Reach Midway.
Yeah, I think that's really cute that they had that. They also had a stand-up bar that wasn't in the Pitchfork Parlor.
They did. I forgot about that.
So if if the lines were too long or you didn't want to go in where the music was or whatever, you could also get drinks outside.
Yeah.
They also had like a henna. They had some vendors there, so they
Oh, I
had
missed the henna.
so they had the henna tattooing.
That's cool.
And then they also had a little merchandise. I guess it was like I forgot the
It was
name of
almost
the
like an
people.
oddities market
Yeah, it was like
type
an
of vendor.
oddities vendor that had some really cute like stickers and car or fresheners and a bunch of like cute merchandise
Yeah.
for sale in there. But in the Fear Reach Midway, you'll find games, merchandise, concessions, axe throwing, and more. Just watch out for the frightful creatures lurking around, protecting the cursed
Cursed.
Fear Reach Ranch from any mischievous trespasser. So they did have
Yeah.
a couple of people walking around in costume, which was really cool to
Yeah.
interact with.
One looked like the scarecrow from Spirit Halloween, the one that's like holding the candy bucket and pops
Yeah.
its head up.
He did.
But it looks like the version that Wicked Makers did, where it has the obnoxiously large hat.
Mm.
It was almost like the hat from one of the scary movies that the
Mhm.
sheriff had, and every scene they cut back to her and it
Yeah.
got bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
That was funny. All right, anything else you want to talk about before we dive into some of the tech?
mm, I don't think so. They have bathrooms on site, air conditioned bathrooms,
Hmm.
um, which is really nice to have a little break and go inside the bathroom and chill for a few.
Yeah.
And they also have like a dining area, sitting table in front of the midway that you can, sit down and eat or whatever.
Hmm.
And they also had two food trucks as well.
They did. I
So
only saw the one food truck,
I,
but I wasn't really paying attention because I didn't.
I think there was two. I could be wrong. There might have been one, but I don't know. I think there's two.
Okay,
Yeah.
I believe you.
So yeah, they had lots of good stuff. If you're not into haunted houses, you can still have fun. Kids
Yeah,
can have fun.
yeah, very kid friendly, I would
Mhm.
say. All right, so final topic, the tech. And I would love to say we're going to be able to do this for each episode whenever we review a haunted attraction, but there are so many prop vendors, effects vendors, like Transworld obviously is full of them. So
Yeah.
some of these we can give what the names of the items are, what the names of the effects are, and then we can give a few different options as to who we know sells it. But that's by no means the full extensive list as to where you can acquire them, or all the different price points. So right off the bat, for their ticketing system, they use Fear tickets. So I did a little bit of research on Fear tickets because I'm kind of familiar with HauntPay, Zola, things like that.
Mhm.
So some of their bigger competitors are HauntPay, TicketLeap, and Eventbrite, which I know a lot of churches use, a lot of schools use it for like homecoming events, things like that.
Yep.
So Fear tickets is a flat cost. They charge 50 cents per ticket sold,
Hmm.
and then you don't have to pay until you actually get proceeds for your tickets.
Oh wow.
So it like monitors that, and then it just sends you. I don't
Whatever
know if
the.
it automatically deducts it and then sends you the kind of the rest of the funds,
Mhm.
or if they just invoice you and then you choose to pay.
Interesting.
But either way, there's a box office app that comes complimentary, so you can download it on an iPad or wherever else, so
Mhm.
that you can actually like check people in there.
Nice.
You can also add service fees on top of your ticket prices, and that doesn't actually go to Fear tickets. That's just an additional fee if you wanted to cover like taxes or overhead or anything like that. So you
Oh.
get to keep whatever you set as that service fee.
Oh, that's really cool.
Aside from that standard kind of flat rate cost, there's no other fees, contracts, subscriptions.
Is it more expensive or less expensive than Zola?
I don't know all of the costs associated with Zola. This one just boasted that it was 50 cents per ticket.
That's not bad at all,
So by the time
actually.
you look at fees for Zola, I don't know. I'm familiar with the system, but I'm not familiar with the fee structure or
And
the
they have,
pricing.
and Fear Tickets has the time.
Yep, they still have
Okay.
ticket timing. You can also use fully digital tickets, or you can
Mhm.
also hook up a printer, and you can print tickets if you want kind of that memento.
Oh, okay. And you can
Um,
also support it with Square and Stripe.
Yep, Square, Stripe, Card Connect, as well as Authorized.net. There's
Hmm.
a ton of different ways they can send you a Square card reader.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of good options within this system. Fear Tickets has
I've never heard of
been
them. I've heard of HauntPay, but I've never heard of Fear
so
Tickets.
Fear Tickets has been featured a little more on the Haunted Attraction Network
Oh, okay.
pages. So I think they're rising in popularity for sure. I don't know how they actually compare to HauntPay. They had a kind of a section on their site that looked at the average cost per ticket.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of that was one-sided or biased.
Mhm.
Obviously, if I was running it, I would look for all the problems or the cons with other companies
Yeah,
and
for sure.
never showcase my own.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know how they actually line up, but 50 cents per ticket doesn't seem bad.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. So past that, we talked about a mechanism that comes from under a a static prop,
Yeah.
and that mechanism that they used was a heavy-duty scissor mech, and it was pneumatic. So there's a couple of different options where you can get one of these. Fright Props has one. It starts off at about $520.
Oof.
And on that site, it doesn't actually show what the maximum weight that it can hold is. I think
Oh,
it
that
goes
makes
out,
sense.
all of them go out about 40 to 48 inches. And depending on how you mount it, you can mount it at an angle so that it goes kind of up on an incline. It can go straight out, it can go straight up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Most of them are horizontal scissor mechs, so they're straight out horizontally or at a bit of an incline.
Hmm.
They're not made to necessarily shoot up. Could you? Probably. I don't
Which
know
one
how
did
well
this
they would
one
work.
do? Was it
So
straight
this
out?
one looked like an incline
I
because it
think it
kind of went
did.
out and then up a little.
Yeah, it did.
So yeah, so the closest I could find was just a horizontal scissor mech. So
Mm-hmm.
$520 at Fright Props. You can also get one at Halloween Effects. Theirs
Mm-hmm.
is only about $400, and they stipulate that it can hold up to 30 pounds of a prop on the very end.
Not terrible.
Because you figure it's all cantilevering off of that end
Mm-hmm.
point. So there's another option that I don't know why you would buy this one, but it's from the Horror Dome,
Never heard of
which
them.
I had not either, but they started coming up in all the Google searches I did for this episode. And they sell it for closer to $1,000,
Mm-mm.
and it only holds about 10 pounds, if I
What?
read that correctly. I'm hoping that was a typo, and maybe they meant 100 pounds.
I would hope so for
But
$1,000.
yeah, double the cost of any of the others. So
Dang. Were there any
that's
reviews on that?
I didn't look at any of the reviews.
That's interesting.
But yeah, that's crazy.
Did
For
you look
that,
at anything else that the Horror Dome had?
yes.
Wonder if their
They
prices
sell
are
a
just
little bit of
astronomical.
everything.
Yeah,
They're kind
probably.
of that. They look like a reseller in a way. I don't know if that's accurate, but that's the vibe that I got.
Don't like that.
So I'm gonna skip my favorite prop, and we'll come back to it at the end.
Okay.
So you talked about the water in the shower head.
Yeah.
So that was it's a really simple mechanism. All you need is a water pump, and you can make it 12 volt, you can make it 120 volt. However you do it, you just need a relay that can accommodate that voltage and has the ability to kind of turn off, turn on. So this one was on a relay that has a closed, normally open, normally closed connection point. So they also had it connected to a step mat. So they used the step mat as the trigger,
Right.
and then had the water pump connected to common or closed, and then normally open. So that whenever you hit that step mat, it triggers it to go from the normally closed position to the normally open. So it flips open, and then it sprays the water on you, and then whenever that program stops, or that scene stops, it stops spraying.
That could be a better option for what we have
In the private experiment,
Yeah.
it could. The way we did it is we have a mister
Janky.
like you would. Well, no, we have the same
No,
exact
I know.
system.
Yeah.
We have a 12 volt water pump hidden in one of the B boxes, and then we just have a smaller mister hooked to 1/4 inch pneumatic pipe.
Yeah.
So they had it themed. Bless you.
Excuse me.
They had it themed as a shower head. We could do that, but a shower head doesn't make any sense in a greenhouse.
Well, no.
But a water sprayer does, just like the thunderstorms at like the vegetable sections at Winn-Dixie, Publix, things like that.
Yeah.
So for us, ours still fits in the theme. So
Right.
I'm still here for it.
Yeah.
So the pressure sensor mat or the trigger mat or step mat or whatever you want to call it, you can get those from pretty much anywhere. Spirit Halloween has some. Usually those you either have to splice the end because it's like an 1/8 inch connector that's made to plug into their props.
Right.
You can also order them from Fright Props. They have them for about $30 to $40 as well. And theirs are a little more high end. They're more flexible. They're water resistant. They look a little more put together. So
Yeah.
the step mat could have been from anywhere.
Yep.
The one place I know we've gotten them from is Fright Props, if you want a more heavy duty one. So that's possible they got it from there, but again, a ton of people sell it.
Yep.
Do you remember the car or the train horn in Bloodline Barn? It was after one of the first scenes, and it wasn't like an in your face. It was just like a sound you heard elsewhere.
Kind of, yeah.
I don't remember if it was in a specific scene.
Yeah. I remember hearing it, but where it was coming from, I have no idea.
Yeah, so this has a lot of different options. It could have been a handheld one. If they went that route, it's probable that they got it from a place called Gearheads Unlimited,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where Gainesville Fear Garden got their kind of clown horn gun.
Mm-hmm.
Their prices are anywhere from $120 up to about $330. They just use standard power tool batteries. You can recharge them. They last pretty much all night.
Wow.
You can get them in a lot of different sound functions. If you want a more static, larger system, Fright Props has one for about $500.
Jeez.
In the scheme of things, you can get them from so many other places. Look up clown horn, train horn,
Mm-hmm.
car horn. The prices are all across the board. You could probably rig one up the same as you would on a vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
I know we're down in the south, so a lot of
Oh,
a lot of teenagers put those on.
didn't they? Oh my God, I know. On their truck.
Hmm.
Didn't they have a vendor at Transworld that made their own?
Yes, that was Gearheads Unlimited.
Oh, that's Gearheads. Okay.
Yeah, because I remember taking a picture of all their stuff, and I thought that would
Yeah.
be perfect in our haunt.
Mm-hmm.
And Gainesville Fear Garden had the same idea, so they actually got one.
Yeah.
We weren't in the place
Yeah, it's
yet to
good
need
quality.
it. Really good quality. Still rocking and rolling now, so yeah,
Yep.
great products there. And the people that run it are super nice.
Yeah.
I think we talked to them for about 15, 20 minutes just to kind of ask more of the tech specs, and they were super full of knowledge. All right. Do you know something that we didn't see there in terms of an effect that is almost everywhere else? Swamp lasers.
Oh, you're right.
I didn't see a single swamp laser, and I was very happy about that.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah. For a haunt to be that big and
Mhm.
not default to a swamp laser,
We default to a swamp laser.
we did, but we used it in a different way.
That's true.
So
That's
Gainesville
true.
Fear Garden's theme is AI, so we used it in a very AI machine computer fashion. It's
Right.
not a swamp laser, it's
Well, no, we put it outside.
a laser. Yes, but it's not, it wasn't meant to be a swamp effect.
Right, yeah.
It was meant to be like a mashup of an industrial machine setting.
Yeah. Which is crazy because they could have had a swamp.
Oh yeah,
I mean, they're on a barn.
they could have and they didn't, and
Yeah.
I respect that a lot.
I do too.
One of the props that took me about an hour to find where you can get it was the cattle prod, like taser that the Q actor had, the big like baton looking
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Very, very difficult to find.
Really?
I don't know if I just didn't know the name of it. I went down several different routes. I thought it was a taser. I thought it was a shocker. None of that was it.
I can picture it and I know what it looks like.
Exactly.
But
So
yeah.
the closest I could get was two different options. So there's a place that supposedly originated this thing that people call a faux cattle prod shocker.
Mhm.
And the company is Spooky Props.
Okay.
They sell it for about $225, and it's a very plain, all black, more affordable option. So $225. But if you want the one that they had, I believe it is a zombie zapper from Scare Innovations.
Ooh.
So those, a little more pricey. They go anywhere from about $349 up to about $409.
Oof.
But they also have options anywhere from about 24 inches long up to longer than 5 feet.
Oh,
So
why
you can
would
get
you
like
even?
a full staff.
Oh my God.
Yeah, 65 inches is what they go to.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so in the scheme of things, $409 for that really isn't that bad for what you're getting.
Yeah.
So I'm not certain that that's where that prop was from, but it's basically a handheld taser, noisemaker. It looks like a cattle prod, but it's a little more themed and colorful and doesn't actually shock you.
Interesting. Yeah, well, that's nice.
Yeah. Oh, and my favorite prop that they have is the big puppet.
Oh, right.
So I was right. It is from Gore Galore, and it is called an actor matronic. They have 3 different versions. They have a small actor matronic, a full-size actor matronic, and then a cart system. So the cart system is really just the same thing as the actor matronic, but instead of having it hanging from a chain and a slide rail, it's on a very heavy-duty cart that you can still have all the same functionality, movement, powered speaker, all of that, but it's mounted on the ground. And the way they market it is it's for a swamp.
Oh.
So if you don't want to see things hanging above your prop, but you're cool with hiding the lower part of your prop, then you can just kind of push it around on a cart.
Oh, that's
If
interesting.
you want something to come out of the dark and you have the availability to hang it from the ceiling and the rafters and you have that support system, then you can get one of the standard actimatronics.
Cool.
Do you want to guess how much these actimatronics cost? They vary in price almost $5,000 between the lowest and the highest.
Oh my god. So this particular one, you want me to guess the price?
I don't remember how much this specific one was because they have about 4 or 5 very, very similar models just with different
I mean, it
paint
looks
jobs.
like it'd be like 2,500 or something.
So they start off at $3,200 and they go up to about $8,000.
Oh my god.
I think this one was between the 4 to 5,000 mark.
That's insane.
It's a demon dog or hellhound type
Yeah.
of thing. But again,
I mean,
they
but it
have
didn't even do anything. Like, it didn't. They could have put like fog in it.
So they might have, but
maybe.
because that scene was very close to the exterior of the building,
Oh, that's true.
it wouldn't surprise me if the fog just went away. Or maybe they just hadn't tested it. Or maybe they ran out of fog machines and power cords like every other haunt.
Maybe.
Who knows? You can get the... I think everybody heard you whisper 4 minutes.
No, I didn't. No, they didn't.
Okay, I did.
I mouthed it.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, goodness.
So you can get them with or without powered speakers, if you want that extra boom,
Ooh.
or if you already have your own custom speakers or audio supply, then you can always just use your own.
Yeah.
That's all I've got. That's all the
That's
tech
all?
that I could research. Like, I'm not going to go into every
kidding.
single scene.
That was a
I
lot.
don't know what controllers they use.
No.
Probably fright props because that's the
Probably.
standard. Although, we just got into new controllers from Terrorbyte.
Oh, yeah.
They're Terabyte Scream Relays. They have wireless connectivity between them,
Mm-hmm.
so you don't have to connect them to a Wi-Fi router. They have all-encompassing networking from one to the other. So I'm going to try those out here in the
hope
next
those
few
work.
weeks. And they weren't very expensive. They were like less than $100 a piece. Granted, that was with the discount, but
Yeah.
whatever. So I have some trivia questions. And
Trivia.
before we get to the trivia, we're going to link all of the websites for all the props that you can get. We're going to link all those sites in our show notes. So if you would like to check out the cost
Bless
of
you,
these,
buddy.
bless you, Duncan. Our dog is cuddled up between us, sneezing.
And he's
being
staring
the
at me
best.
like, Mommy, when are we going home?
We're almost done, bud. We have a few questions from Mommy. All right, I only have 3 questions. One,
Okay.
without looking at your notes, what were the names of the couple that ran Reach Manor?
Oh, Budge and Clara Reach.
Yes. What are the names of the couple that owns Fear Reach?
Oh.
Mm,
Brennan
yeah?
and Leah.
Do you remember their last name?
No. Reach.
Hamill. Hamill like Mark Hamill.
Oh, okay.
All right, that was good. Very well done. What's a better alternative for chainsaws other than tasers? This is more of a personalized question, not like a...
Other than tasers?
Yeah, if you had to change out the chainsaws with another item that was equally as scary, what would it be? And you can't choose tasers, because that's the easy answer.
An axe.
So if we just had like a bunch of people running around with fake
In
axes.
silence.
Right. Just a bunch of like shing
No,
sound
no.
effects.
Um,
You can hear Duncan licking your
Duncan's
face.
licking me. I don't know.
The sky's the limit. Would it be scarier if they had torches?
No, that would be terrible.
Okay.
That would actually be like a hazard.
Well, yeah, so would real tasers. Duncan, you're really...
Okay, I don't know what.
I don't know. That was like a personalized question.
it's-
I have no idea.
I don't
I don't have
know.
a right answer.
Because
All right.
because we've been through this at the haunt and we're
I know.
like trying
We
to figure
chose
out
tasers.
Yeah.
Was our backup solution.
A taser that is actual taser.
It is.
That I'm
but,
scared
you
that
know,
the kids are gonna
that's-
tase somebody, but whatever.
We'll cross that bridge. It's in the waiver. Everybody signed the consent form.
Oh my gosh.
All right, last one. Would you rather a full story-based house or a classic haunted house where there's no real storyline, but it's typical startles and effects. So only story
Depends on the day.
or just startles or jump scares?
I think I like the story ones better.
Yeah. Are they as scary?
No. I mean, they can be.
Okay. So part 2, would you rather all scary or all immersive?
Ooh. I think I like the immersive better than the scary.
Full immersive?
Mm-hmm.
And is it possible to have it full scary and fully immersive at the same time?
I think so. Takes a lot, though. You have to have good actors.
That's true.
You have to have a lot of good props, actors,
I
all the works.
disagree about the props. I think you can do fully immersive and fully scary without all the props as long as you have a good actor.
I'm not talking about animatronic props. I'm talking about like decor props.
Yeah, I still disagree.
Really?
Yeah, and my prime example is Intense Escape in Tampa.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
You always talk about that.
Yeah,
My feet are a
because
little
they
swollen.
had one actor, very minimal props, and terrifying experience.
For
And they
you.
just opened a new room, the basement 2,
I'm gonna
which
take
I
you.
don't know that I would be able to do. You know what?
I'm gonna
How about
take
this?
you.
If we go, we're
Just you and
recruiting
I.
Ken and Katie. Nope. Nope. We're recruiting like 6 people to go with us as the maximum that room will hold. Because
And you're not gonna do nothing.
Nope, I'm going to sit in the corner and I'm going to supervise.
Oh
Nah,
my god.
I'll do something.
If you haven't heard that story, go back and listen to.
I don't think we've told the full story
Oh.
because we didn't want to ruin
That's
what
true.
the experience is. But
I still don't
check
want
it
to ruin
out.
it for you.
Intense Escape.
But yeah, they're really cool.
Best escape room we've ever done.
Yes.
Scariest 60 minutes of my life.
Yeah,
Ever.
it's like a little hidden gem for sure.
Yeah, they've got 2 locations. One in Bradenton, one in Tampa.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening to our episode on Fear Reach Scream Park.
Yep.
Get out there before they close for the holiday season and have fun.
Bye.
Bye.